That's what we're going to do. Okay, because I want you to be able to see what the heck I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I don't measure. I just measure. I just pour it out, and I look at the hill. This is the way my grandfather used to make bread dough. You know, you look. Actually, no, not bread. Pasta. You can do this with bread. You have to weigh. He weighed. There we go. And then you just pour this in a little at a time. And you know what? I like to start with a fork, but we'll use the spoon since I don't have a fork. I like to start with a fork before I start to knead it because I don't want to get my hands dirty that quick. Because if you work it, you got to moisten every single molecule has got to be moistened. So you got to press the wet part into the dry part, if you know what I mean. See those little parts that are wet? You push them into the dry, and then you just pour it in by eye. Don't worry about it, because if it is too wet or if it's too dry, just add more water, or you add more. We have here Caputo semolina from Naples. That's what we have here, Caputo. Okay. All right. In fact, it kind of looks like it's getting to the point where I'm going to start to use my hands and mush it together. What we have here something very special that we're going to be putting in the sauce. It's not tomato paste. This is not tomato paste. This is made out of, in fact, I made a video on how I made it, and Italians make this outside, and they cook it in the sun. But this is actually not tomato paste, though there are tomatoes in there, like several kinds of tomatoes, all kinds of tomatoes. But it also contains a very special ingredient, not just hot Calabrian peppers, but a very, very, very special pepper, a geminatolo, which is a sweet pepper that's very fruity and buttery tasting. So we're going to lay this down here. And Maria is going to start. Now we feel the dough. We feel the dough to see if we have enough water. Remember, all the molecules very slowly. That's the whole point to doing this, is to moisten all the molecules. Because you don't want it too dry and you don't want it too wet. You don't want it too soft. But when you're done, and you know when you're done, is when the dough feels very soft, kind of like a cheek, like a very, very soft cheek. And I'm telling you, ladies, you know what really pisses me off? What really pisses me off is all this no knead dough, no knead this and no knead that, and quick in 5 minutes and this and that. The reason why is, you got all these ladies out there that they go into a room and they stand there and they stick their arms out and they do all these circles and ups and downs and they try to they do that so their arms get in shape, so they get rid of the flab on their arms. But I'll tell you something, ladies. You do that, you're wasting your time. Why don't you just do this? You do this, and you can cook food. You make delicious stuff, and you and you exercise at the same time. You know what I mean? So everything stays in shape, and that's what you want. You want everything to stay in shape. Oh, wait, you're looking at this? That I just found that. That's my mother's cameo. I didn't know she had a cameo. I found my grandmother's jewelry box. My mother had put a cord over it, around it, the day she died, and should never be opened again. And then my mother didn't speak for 2 years. It was difficult, but we got along. Anyway, so I found it and I opened it up, and there was a lot of rhinestone jewelry. Not one thing, not much, but not one thing was real. And I said, how sad. How very sad that that this woman who had 8 children, 2 died, 2 or 3 died, never got anything real. But I thought to myself, she had some lovely pins in there. Very, very small box. Very, very small. She didn't have much jewelry. But I thought to myself, if I used one of those pins, that would go perfectly. Oh, you know what I forgot to put on? I forgot to put on my earrings. So this doesn't look right. Nothing looks right. I'm going to go put my earrings on, and then I'm going to get the knife that we're going to need to make the orecchiette. Okay, I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, here I am. I forgot. Here's my hair. Look at these earrings. Aren't they beautiful? They are made by Bauble Star. Quality. That is quality. I almost wore a pair by Diamond Ito, which is kind of Italian, so that's why I bought these first. But then I saw these from Bauble Star, and these are baubles, and I'm a star. So there you go. Anyway, this is the very knife my grandmother used. Well, oops. To make orecchiette. Oh, I'm sorry. I look like such a mess. Anyway, so we'll continue. Okay, we'll continue. I figured if I wore my grandmother's pin, what would happen if I wore my grandmother's pin? It would probably pop right off, and she would come and haunt me, and this whole thing would fail. The whole thing would fail. Okay, anyway. Because she made these, and she used to make these. She was like a machine. Look at this. See this? A little bit more so you can see this a little bit better. Okay. This seems a little dry, and I think I might add a little more water. See, I'm feeling it. Pick it up and you squeeze it, you feel it. See if you can pick up anything else. It's better not to add more water if you don't have to. Otherwise, the shape of the orecchiette is supposed to have like a cap, like a little cap shape, like this, And so it's supposed to be like round, like little caps, and you'll lose the shape, and you don't want to lose the shape. You always want to keep the shape. And, flat orecchiette, not that great. Okay, so if I can keep doing this, like this is really this is the technique. Pick it up as much as possible. Turn it over, push it in, push it into the dry. This is how you knead bread too. this twisting motion. It builds the gluten. You want to build the gluten structure. And that's what holds the bread together. That's what gives the bread its shape. That's what gives the pasta its shape. You gotta build the structure. You know what I'm talking about? Building structure, holding shape. Yeah, these diamond, well, these are bauble stars. These are nice. These are very nice. Give you a smile. Once in a while, I'll give you a smile. Here we. Oh, it's coming together. See, I added enough water, not too much. And it takes patience. Of course, it takes patience. And then you knead it until you get a nice velvety feel. And if you do need a little bit more water, because I think I'm getting muscles. If you do need a little bit of water, you just touch it with your fingertips and then you add a little bit, because you don't need too much more. And it's a mistake. Well, it wouldn't be a mistake because we got some more Caputo here. We have enough that we could add, but I don't want to add, just keep adding this and keep adding that. I want to work with what I have and make what I have work, if you know what I'm talking about. There we go. It's picked up everything. It's beautiful. It's picked up everything. It's a nice solid ball. This is what you want. You want a nice solid ball. You know what I mean? Okay. So what you do is you put it in the bowl, and I let it rest for a little bit. This way all the molecules, all the water gets into the molecules. Now, they did not use plastic back in my grandmother's time. They didn't use plastic. She would put a dish over it and some towels, and they didn't have any cellophane. Absolutely no cellophane. But this is handy dandy, and I really like it. So we're going to use this handy dandy thing. I'm going to put it over here on the, that's a marble table. It's a little marble table. Okay, now for the fun part. Now we're going to make the sauce. Now, this is the board my grandmother used to make orecchiette. And this is the knife. See, there we go. And this, you can work it immediately, but I like to let it sit. So all the molecules, the molecules of semolina are whoops, that's how heavy that slate is. I told you I don't need a man. I can lift this thing. That's how heavy that slate is. But it didn't hurt anything. So I hope you can see this. There we go. Is it better over there? Okay. All right. I'll take one book out. Make this a little lower. There we go. See, I have a little Chromebook. There's one of those literally tiny Chromebooks. I can't afford a computer. Oh, I should be able to, because I work for Fox News, for God's sakes. Oh my God. I forgot that. So so just so you know, all these tables and everything I wiped down with those antibacterial, those cleansing cloths that kill everything. For some reason, this board is very slippery. I've been using a different board to make orecchiette. In fact, I've been using this tiny little board. See this? It's a little, it doesn't, see how this doesn't slip? And I'm going, this is taking too long. This board, I think, is very, very worn. As you can see, I'm having less trouble with the orecchiette slipping, with the dough slipping. There we go. And so I play games with myself, and I roll it on the smallest area possible. And see if I can cut the orecchiette on the smallest area possible and still be able to make orecchiette. So the Barese way is like that, you know, the authentic Barese way. And then you make it rough. You see how the top is really rough. And then the Puglian way, see how rough that top is? And then you push it together and you flick it aside. You see how that actually looks like a little ear. The Puglian way, you go like this, and you go like this, and then that's it. You hold that. I think they're just as they can be just as round as the Barese way. Flip it over onto your thumb. That. Let's see, Barese way. And just drag. You hold it with your two fingers and you drag it. Then you push it together and you flip it over. Drag. After you finish dragging, you push it together and you flip it over. Drag. Push it together, flip it over. You wonder why those ladies they can do it. See this? I like to do it like this, and there's just this board. See how small of an area can I cook Do I need, you need to roll it on the board. See, I'm so used to doing it like this. I'm so used to doing it in my hands to make it. But you know what? Every time I do this like this, I think of the Seinfeld episode with Poppy and the dough, you know, after Poppy goes to the bathroom. I'm going, don't do that if you ever do this on camera. Do it like this. Do it like this so they don't think of Poppy. That's so funny. Surprised these are coming out whole for some reason. This folded, we've got a split in there, and I'm going to do it anyway to see if they come out whole. You know, sometimes it's like playing games with myself. Can I still do it? The thing isn't right at all. It's dry. Like this part of the dough is dry. Or something, the way it folded. Look at this. This is in pieces. Can I still make an orecchiette out of it? Yes, I can still make a whole orecchiette, even though the thing is in pieces. I go, yeah, leave it. Don't. It's very easy to fix. You just put my fingers in the water. That's what you do. You just put your fingers in the water and you roll it back up again. But I'm going, no, I've made a mistake. What if I have no more water? Can I still make orecchiette? Yes, I can. If I don't hold one end, can I still make a perfect orecchiette? You're supposed to hold one end. Yes, I can still make a perfect orecchiette, whether I hold one end or I don't hold one end. My mother said, my grandmother used to make them like a machine, and she used to go like, so this, it says the cupplelino. That's a little hat. There you go. That ruff. See that ruff? That's what you want. That's what holds the sauce. And the drier you make them, the almost guarantee, no matter what kind of orecchiette you make, you'll get that dry edge. That's the way to really do it, because if you make it very smooth, it's when you make the Puglian orecchiette, it's less likely that it's going to have that rough edge. So if you make it a little drier, it will have that rough top. So is that enough? Yeah, that's probably enough. That is probably enough. And I want to throw these on here. Why am I going to throw these on here right now? Why don't I just, I don't know, pick them up and throw them? I'll show you, because the way you throw them in the pot, they slide right in. Now, I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if you noticed something else about what I did here. A lot of recipes on the web, on YouTube, will cover the board with semolina. So that way, when you roll it, it's rougher, it's easier to make. And then when you throw it on like a drying rack, or you throw it on the towel, if you're going to make it fresh, if you don't dry them, because you can dry them. If you throw them on the towel, then they throw the semolina flour all on it, so they don't stick together, okay? But I think that's a waste. And the way Italians really do it, the nonnos really do it in Italy, you don't waste anything at all whatsoever. So then you take the towel, it's very smart, and you take the towel and then you throw them, they roll off into the water. And then the water is full of this semolina flour. And they say, oh, that's all right. I hear these channels going, oh, that's all right. It will just fall to the bottom. It's not going to make your sauce or anything too starchy. Well, what is the point of wasting all that semolina flour? That's a waste. I just make them correctly. Make them on the drier side. I mean, don't be a fool. Oh, I forgot the cheese. Oh, I'll get the cheese and I'll get the grater and we can grate the cheese on the thing. That's no problem. How could I ever forget the cheese? Anyway, it's ridiculous because they tell you these things because they want to make it as easy as possible, but it's tremendously wasteful. And if I poured semolina flour all over the place here, then there'd be semolina all over the place. You know what I mean? It'd get on the floor, it's on the table, then you have to clean the whole thing up. It's exhausting. And this is look at this. I didn't need anything. And look at this. None of them are sticking together. It's perfect because the amount of water that I put in there was perfect. You just have to feel the dough. And I was almost going to add a little more water, but I said, no, I want a little on the dry side. And if you keep working the dough, you just keep working the dough. And as you work the dough, like I said, it's like if you're a woman who goes into a room and does all these arm exercises because she doesn't want to have flabby arms, you don't have to do that. Just make pasta. Make pasta and knead it for as long as you need to. And you will keep your arms in shape. You know, it's just like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So those are things, those are steps. There you go. I did my exercise, my arm exercises. I made pasta. I didn't waste semolina. I put the perfect amount of water in. And I will keep that covered. Instead of what I do actually is, instead of drying it, a lot of people don't have drying racks. You don't have room to dry pasta, or you might want to not keep pasta out as it's drying for some reason or another. It depends on if it's summer and there's bugs or something like that. For whatever reason, you don't have the room, you don't want to keep it out. I just keep it in the bowl in the refrigerator with a cover on it. And whenever I want to make pasta, as long as you keep the cover on tight, it doesn't let any extra moisture in. If you let extra moisture in, you're going to have to add more semolina to it. Otherwise, it's going to be too wet and you're not going to get your right shape. So as long as you keep the cover on sealed very well, then you're all set. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the pot with the water, and I'm going to throw them in. Look at this. This is going to fall right off. Boom. Oh. Oh. Oops. Oops. There we go. There we go. Slides right in. And nothing is sticking because it's perfect. See, oh, that's not enough water because I was in here talking and a lot of the water boiled off. So we're going to put some salt in there. There we go. Nothing is sticking. Can you see that, or is that fogging up the lens? See, is that fogging up the lens? There we go. Beautiful. And Orecchiette takes about 8 to 10 minutes to cook, but I usually cook it in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to escape this and see if, nope, nobody showed up. Hello there, John Harrison. Oh, it's good to see you again. She's going to throw him into the pot with the water. Ronnie, now. You are not keeping things clean. Yes, I am. What do you mean I'm not keeping? Everything is clean. Everything is clean. Buonasera. Thank you, Emanuele. Let's see. No, Felina, you're making me fog up my screen. So 8 minutes. So we have 7 more minutes. And I'm going to turn this a little. Let's see. Doesn't need to be a little lower, I guess. How much lower can that go? There we go. Perfect. Perfecto, like the cigar. I always say, I don't know if you've ever heard me. I always say perfecto, like the cigar. And that's because these are my uncle. This is a cigar box. It's my uncle Angelo, whose wedding anniversary was today. His favorite cigars were Dutch Masters Perfectos. So I always say perfecto, like the cigar, or say correctamundo, like Fonzie said. But let me tell you a little story about my hongo. My mother used to say, "Yo hongo." And gotta respect the yo hongo.